When I was young, we didn't go to Disney World. We didn't go to the beach. We came to the mountains. This is where I spent summer vacations. Some of my best memories were from up here. We have a fire pit at the house, and I love to build a fire just to get the smell of smoke in my hair, just because it reminds me of my childhood. Hey there, I'm Revonda Williams. We are in my cabin on some of the Hooper property that's been in my family for over 150 years. Dr. Enos Hooper was one of the first doctors in the county, and he bought a large area of property here. I think he bought about 3,500 acres, and that stretched all the way from the Hooper Ball to the Forks of Snowbird. And there are still descendants of his, including my family, that live on that property today. He did originally own the Hooper Ball and grazed his cattle there, and therefore the Hooper Ball is named for him. Now, the Hooper Ball itself, his sons had borrowed money against that after the Civil War and weren't able to pay it back. So that did go back to that landowner, and for one reason or another ended up in the logging companies and then was donated to the Forest Service, which is a good thing because they are helping us to preserve the azaleas that are up there now. My grandmother was Mabel Hooper McGuire, a Hooper descendant, and she married my grandfather, who was actually a caretaker to a hunting lodge that one of the lumber company investors had built in this area. He was the one that had brought the wild boar in, and he brought elk and bear and turkey and these different things for his hunting buddies to come into the mountains and experience, mountain hunting. And Papa was the game warden and caretaker of the land. And so basically he and Mama ran essentially a bed and breakfast at the hunting lodge and lived in the caretaker's cottage that was just off the hill from that. And then when my father was 3, which would have been in 1939, the caretaker's cottage caught on fire. And that's why all the locals around here call it the burn house, because that's what we know it as. And even today, with that being as far back as that was, you can still go to that site and find some of the rock foundations from that house. When that burned, they moved up to the main lodge and stayed there until my father started school, and then Mama and the children moved back to the valley where she had actually grown up. So we're here in my cabin, which is on property that my father, Garland McGuire Jr., received from his mother, who received it from her father, Sim Hooper. Again, this place has always been special to me because it was special to my father and his mother and her father. And I have the privilege now of having my children and my grandchildren come up, and they love to come to the cabin. It's a special place for them too, which means a lot to me.